So guys, you're watching another episode of Anxiety Land, and this week we are going to be talking about characters. Now, I started doing characters really young, and the reason why I did characters as a young guy is because I was not comfortable in my own skin. Now, growing up, characters were a way for me to be able to shield myself, but the thing about that is, when I talked about how I was picked on in an earlier episode, I also mentioned that I had to go to a growth doctor when I was younger, and they put me on testosterone shots.
Hello! You are a stupid nincompoop! I am sorry! But you are stupid! You're freaking dumb! Oh, I've got a headache. It feels like the brain is splitting!
When I figured out that I could do characters, this was my way of emoting when I was younger. Because if you look at some of my earlier characters, they were almost psychotic. Because at that time, I was funneling repressed rage and it was coming out in the characters. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I was thinking about like hurting people. Like you see that guy's beard right there? I want to pull out each one of his beard hairs one by one. It was nothing like that. But there was a subconscious anger that would come out when I was doing some of these characters.
Now move out of the way, guys.
Why can't I talk to my mother?
Get out of here, will you?
She's somewhere in the audience. I can't find her. Why can't I talk to my mom? Why can't I talk to my mom?
Now, the reason why this is applicable to people is because I believe people are becoming more and more divided than we've ever been in our entire lives. Like, people are becoming so competitive in a way that you shouldn't even be competitive with other people. Michael Jordan is competitive with people on the basketball court because he's on the basketball court. But social media has made it to where it seems like everyone is your neighbor. In the 90s and the 2000s, there was a phrase called keeping up with the Joneses. And basically what it meant is, if your next door neighbor gets a really big boat, I gotta get a bigger boat because I can't let my wife think that that's the dominant man. I gotta be the dominant man. I have to be the big fish in the pond, right? Now people are doing that on social media. People are literally comparing themselves to people that are all the way around the other side of the globe. They'll be like, this guy is getting women in Brazil and I'm stuck in Cleveland. My armor was really thick growing up. And by armor and mask, what I mean is I had to be funny all the time. And I felt if I wasn't funny 24/7, that I was worthless. You have to be funny and you have to prove your worth all the time. And sometimes people are just like, hey, we're just trying to watch a movie. But you're over there like just being like making goofy faces and be like, yeah! Which leads me to all of this talk about wearing masks, to social media algorithms and how this is all connected. So, I have been making sketches and stand-up comedy for a very long time. However, a lot of times I would do a sketch about this, or I would do a sketch about that, and they would be varying topics, and it never caught on online until one day one of my friends told me, dude, you spend so much time doing self-help, you know so much about overcoming anxiety, why don't you make that the bulk of your content? And I told him, I don't want to do that. And he asked me why, and I said, because I don't want people to think that I'm a life coach. And he goes, be funny about it, but talk about your journey and what you went through. He goes, I think that'll make your stuff blow up online. So I started talking about it, right? And I started to realize that when people go to your social media page, stick with me, this is still about mental health, okay? When people go to your social media page, they start to associate you with one thing. For instance, if you watch the show Seinfeld, and then all of a sudden a dinosaur runs through the diner while Jerry and Elaine are eating, you're gonna be like, this is not on brand. That's Jurassic Park. This is Seinfeld. I wanna watch Seinfeld. So people treat your social media page like a TV show, right? Now, because social media has become so personal and people are giving their opinion and their thoughts about things, people are leaning into a one-dimensional opinion and a one-dimensional thought, and they're making that their brand. But they're pretending like there's nothing else on the margins of who they are as a person. And as people adopt that into their personal life, they are becoming one dimension and putting a mask on because of the algorithm. So the only reason I bring that up is because eventually people are gonna associate me with, oh, that's the comedian who talks about anxiety. And That's cool, but I'm also a lot of other things, you know? I'm also a Christian. I'm also someone who loves to do dramatic acting. I'm really into health. I'm really into fitness. There's a lot of things that I am. I'm also a really conflicted person, and guess what? So is everyone else. Yeah, and sometimes, to quote Johnny Cash, I'm a walking contradiction, partly truth and partly fiction. And I think that is relevant to every single human being. And it's horrible comparing yourself to other people. And that's the way I was all the time. I had to be pure electric 24/7. And if I wasn't doing that, I felt like, what is my purpose if I'm not being funny? I had to be this way 24/7. And truth be told, I almost psychologically snapped, like literally snapped, because no one can withstand that amount of pressure all the time. Even in the dating world. And without sounding like a douchebag, I used to be into hookup culture. And I figured out what women want, at least to a large degree. Now, am I saying that every single woman wanted me? No, absolutely not. I've never been Jason Momoa, but I figured out how to be able to pull certain attraction levers. And do you want to know what it is? Are you guys ready for it? Unavailability and options. And basically what that means is you're talking to a lot of other women and you're also unavailable. Now here's the crazy thing. There's this merry-go-round, right, of this hookup culture thing, and both people are blaming the other gender, saying, oh, women suck now, modern women, and it's like, oh, modern men are just completely trash. But both sides are attracted to the most toxic traits in each other, and they're both playing dress up, complaining how the other person doesn't want intimacy. But both are literally playing the exact same game. People are doing a character, they're wearing a mask, but neither one of you are actually getting naked emotionally. Like, you're getting naked, but you're not really getting naked. You know what I'm saying? There's a quote that says, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I think heavy is the head that wears the mask. And the more you wear that mask, the more your shoulders get droopy, the more your back goes out, the more you get exhausted from just trying to sell something that is really not who you are. Sometimes you do need to play a character. Even as a stand-up comedian, you still have to go on stage sometimes and make the audience laugh even when you don't feel like it. Even as an actor, you still have to serve the scene. You can't just be the way you want to be in the world all the time. But when you leave your job and you interact with the world, there has to be a certain letting go of this mask and this character that you're always carrying around with you, because it's just not the truth of who you really are. Take it from someone who did characters for years and years and years, buckled under the pressure, and then I had to pick up the pieces. You don't want to live that kind of life. No matter what you think of Kanye West, there is a lyric from his Donda album to where he says, I reveal myself and some don't know what to make of it. And that is so true, because when you really do reveal yourself, a lot of the world is not willing to take off the zombie face mask of just doing the mundane thing and pretending. So it's almost like a movie to where all the broken toys stop and look at you like, why is this guy free? And thus we have the story of all these people who have been killed because they were willing to speak the truth. The fact of the matter is if you want to reveal yourself, this has to be practiced and broken down into steps. And you can't just do it anywhere at the very beginning. At the end of the day, God put value inside of you, and at the end of your life, He is going to want to collect that interest, meaning the value that He placed in you, you need to learn how to access it, and as you access it, walk through the doors of who you really are. You don't want to come to the end of your life and be like, oh, I was trying to be like someone else, and that other person who you were trying to be like was also trying to be like someone. The cycle goes on and on and on. You want to find out who you really are, you want to practice it, and you want to discover it, and you want to walk it out to the best of your ability, because this is the meaning of life. Leave a thumbs up, turn on the bell notifications, help us get this message out there. I'm gonna be going deeper into personal development trends that I did in the next coming weeks, because I've done a lot of different kinds of therapy. So, guys, remember, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And this show has been brought to you by the Vezbi app, guys. Vezbi is an app that you can download in the App Store. It is a super app. You guys can get exclusive content from me there. And if you guys want to see more, please download the app. Stay posted, guys. We have these shirts coming right here. And like I said, we're gonna be breaking apart a lot of different trends. I'm so excited for you guys to be a part of this. This has been Anxiety Land, and I've been Matt Jones. Bye-bye.